Amateur Radio News and Notes for Friday, November 7th, 2025. I'm Ed Kabik, November 2, Echo Charlie. In the log this week, we've got a contest spotlight for this weekend's Worked All Europe DXCC contest. Also, MVARC gets prepared at Mount Vernon Hospital. We'll talk about some MVARC Nets on the air, see what's happening with DX, get a solar activity update, talk about some upcoming contests, and take a look at interesting online radio content. This weekend brings the Worked All Europe DX contest on RTTY from 0 UTC on Saturday, November 8th, so 7 p.m. Eastern on Friday, until 23:59 Sunday, November 9th, which is 6:59 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. The exchange consists of a signal report and a serial number starting at 001. If a station does not send a serial number, 000 should be logged. Bands of operation will be 80 meters, 40 meters, 20 meters, 15 meters, and 10 meters, and operating categories include single op low, which is 100 watts or less, single op high for over 100 watts, and multi-op. Single op stations can only work 36 in the 48 hours of the contests, and off times must be a minimum of 60 minutes. Multipliers for non-European stations are the number of countries defined in the WAE Country List. And for European stations, they are every non-European DXCC entity with some exceptions in the rules. Country multipliers are also weighted by band. So 80-meter mults are multiplied by 4, 40-meter mults are multiplied by 3, and 20, 15, and 10-meter mults are multiplied by 2. The total multiplier is the sum of the weighted multiplier points for all bands. So, unlike the SSB and CW variants of this contest, in the RTTY version, everyone can work everyone. The only intercontinental requirement is QTC traffic. And what is QTC traffic? Well, it's a unique part of the WAE contests where you can get additional points by reporting contest QSOs to DX stations. These are involved message passing style reports consisting of time, call sign, and serial number. So, the example given in the rules is 1307 DA1AA 431, which means that the station DA1AA was contacted at 1307 UTC and sent the serial number 431. Those QTCs can only be sent once, and if transferred correctly, they count for a point for the sender and the receiver. Up to 10 QTCs can be sent by the two stations, and there are some involved rules for sending multiples, so make sure to check out the rules for the details. Final scores are the total QSO points plus QTCs on all bands multiplied by the band-weighted multipliers. Full details and rules can be found at a link in the show notes. The WAE contests are a great way to work a bunch of DX and test your message passing metal with the QTCs. Good luck. This week, MVARC went to the Mount Vernon Hospital to check the radio gear that is in place for potential emergencies. Ken W4RUS, Corey KN4YZY, Gerson KO4IUK, and Jim K4HYT made sure everything was working as needed. Jim provided a new microphone for the setup, as the existing one had a cracked cable. They also updated the memories programmed into the FTM 400 XDR with the latest information and for frequencies around the area. It was a successful outing, and the team followed it up with lunch. Thanks to the team for their hard work to keep us prepared to assist the hospital in times of need. And now let's take a look at some MVARC Nets on the air. Our 2-meter FM net is Tuesdays at 7 p.m. on the repeater, immediately followed by the 2-meter digital net on Yaesu System Fusion C4 FM. On the weekends, we have the MVARC Slow Speed CW Roundtable on Saturday and Sundays at 7:30 a.m. on 3.565 megahertz CW. And that is followed by the MVARC Cherry Tree Net on Saturday and Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on 3.920 megahertz LSB, where we always have a lively discussion, and you're always welcome to join us. And now let's take a look at what is happening with DX. There will be a good amount of DX on the bands this week. Stations on the air include Cambodia, Ogasawara Islands, Sierra Leone, Madagascar, Togo, Chatham Islands, Tanzania, Burundi, Gabon, Mali, Rodriguez Island, Colombia, Marcus Island, Minami-Torishima Islands, Solomon Islands, and Antarctica. A calendar of DXpeditions can be found at dxnews.com/calendar. And now let's take a look at a solar activity update. As we go to press, the solar flux, or SFI, was at 163, and the estimated sunspot number was 104, with 5 numbered sunspot regions visible from Earth. Over the last week, the SFI has increased, and solar activity has been at moderate levels recently. The geomagnetic field was at a G1 minor to G3 strong storm levels, and the KP index reached 7 yesterday. The The solar wind peaked at nearly 700 kilometers per second. Solar activity is predicted to be at moderate to higher levels, with geomagnetic activity at G3 or strong storming levels today due to the anticipated arrival of a full halo coronal mass ejection, and at G2 storming levels Saturday due to the arrival of the second coronal mass ejection, and at unsettled to active levels on Sunday. The chance of solar radiation storms at the S1 or greater level is 20% today through Sunday. R1 to R2 radio blackouts are expected in the near term, with a predicted probability of 80% today through Sunday. R3 or greater blackouts are also possible, with a 35% chance predicted today through Sunday. There's a chance of 6-meter propagation, so keep an eye on the band and spotting clusters to be ready for the next time the magic band does its thing. Despite the current stormy conditions, it remains a fantastic time for amateurs to get on the air and work the world. Good sources of real-time solar information include spaceweatherlive.com and solarham.com. A good overview of conditions can be found at dx.qsl.net/propagation. To see D-layer absorption data and associated radio blackouts, visit the NOAA DRAP page. And to see real-time maximum usable frequency and critical frequency information for radio sun data, check out prop.kc2g.com. Now let's take a look at some upcoming contests. On the contest calendar this weekend, we'll see the ARRL EME contest, the WAE DX contest already we talked about, the POD XS070 Club Triple Play Low Band Sprint, the FISTS Saturday Sprint, the 1010 International Fall Contest on digital, the JIDX Phone Contest, the SKCC Weekend Sprintathon, the OKOM DX Contest on CW, the CQWE Contest on CW, the AWA Bruce Kelly 1929 QSO Party, the FIRAC HF Contest, and the 4 States QRP Group Second Sunday Sprint. As always, the K1 USN SSTs, MSTs, and CWTs will also be on the air. The full contest calendar with events and exchanges can be found at contestcalendar.com. And finally, let's wrap some things up here with some interesting online radio content. Tim, K5OHY, takes a look at the NorCal doublet antenna. Mark, KD7 DTS, ARA N6 ARA, and Justin, K5EM, talk about building community through radio sport for Sofas on the Air. Randy, K5ZD, talks CQ Worldwide Ready with Gabri, IT9RGY, and Presmec, SQ9ORQ. Today I Found Out explores the origins of SOS as a universal distress call. Steve, KM9G, takes a look at versions 2 and 3 of the SI4732 radios. Mike, KNMRD, takes a look at the chokes made by KF8 ASE. George, VK2 AOE, builds a digital VFO for a 49er kit. Walt, K4OGO, builds and tests the ARRL Momobean Moxon and Yagi for 10 and 6 meters. Rob, N1NUG, takes a look at the ZBIDX QRP radio. Walt, K4OGO, tests out a phased vertical array using the Performance Z-Arrays system. Matt, M0DQW, takes a look at a portable Vivid RTL SDR from UU Gear. And Josh, KI6NAZ, compares and contrasts the Baofeng Mini and the TID Radio H3 and H3 Plus. Well, that is it for this week. I've been Ed, November 2 Echo Charlie. Thanks, as always, for joining us. We hope you have a great week ahead. Best 73, and we look forward to seeing you next week.